Okay, almost 1 p.m. Today's Thursday, September 19th, and there's still no usable water coming out of this tap. So it's literally a trickle. As you can see, you can't do anything. It takes forever to rinse anything off. And there has barely been a trickle of water coming out of this tap for over 24 hours now, starting at 11 o'clock yesterday morning, Wednesday, September 18th. The water to this tap suddenly just completely cut out. For approximately 30 minutes, there was no water, and then the hot water came back on, but the cold water didn't. And now, as you can see, this is the maximum, right? So you turn it off, you turn it on a little bit, you turn it on to maximum. This is the maximum amount of water that's coming out of this faucet right now. Whoops. Oh, great. Did I just break the glass? I just broke the glass. Well, that just sucks. Yeah, blind people shouldn't be around glasses. Do you see? It's a trickle. You can't do anything with this small amount of water coming out of a kitchen tap where you wash dishes and rinse out washcloths and hand wash laundry. I mean, I hand wash my laundry. I hand wash t-shirts and sometimes some pants in this tub right here. So I have to have a decent amount of water coming out of this tap. And when there's just a trickle, and it's been a trickle for over a day now, I mean, you can't do anything with this small amount of water. It takes forever just to fill up a glass. Okay, so I'm just trying to fill up a small cup of water here, and it takes like 30 seconds. It's not even filled up yet. Okay, so now it's filled up. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? This is insufficient water volume and pressure. That's what the Board of Health refers to as insufficient water. The Greenville Group is providing insufficient water to this unit. They're throttling the water to this tap, and this has been going on for over 24 hours. It's almost 1 p.m. now. The following day, after I reported in approximately 5 voicemails to the Greenville Group, starting at 11 a.m. yesterday, about the water not coming out of this tap, or then barely coming out, and it has been barely coming out for over a day now. There also continues to be a leak all over. So the water from this faucet is literally leaking all over the place. So I have to have washcloths all over the faucet so that the water doesn't literally drip all over the floor. And then under here, okay, this is the main problem right here. Total leak all over the place. So check this out. All right. You see all that water coming out of that washcloth? Just total leaking water all over this underneath sink cabinet. And of course, they're probably going to blame me and say I have something to do with the water that's seeping underneath this entire cabinet from one of these valves or both of these valves, and possibly this drain pipe right here. There's always something dripping right here, which is why I have a cloth down under it. And I also have cloths underneath each of the valves. So check it out. I mean, both of these cloths are completely soaked. Check out all this water coming out. It's unreal. It's literally like a swamp under here. This whole underneath the sink situation, do you see all that water just literally pouring out of the cloth? It's a swamp. And I squeeze them out every few hours. I have to squeeze out these cloths on a regular basis every few hours. I have sent probably a half a dozen emails to the Greenville Group over the last few weeks regarding this significant leak underneath this sink, and they're not doing anything. I also called them this morning because my keys went missing. This is something that's very typical. Jasmine Irizarry is Greenville's resident psychopath. Apparently she's sponsored for her cybercrime abilities and her surveillance expertise. As Oleg Eliseyev told me, she is such a talented hacker. She can get into anything. She can take care of anything. And other Greenville staffers have referred to Jasmine Irizarry as their surveillance expert, obviously bragging about the fact that they are sponsoring her in her capacity to use surveillance devices illegally in people's living spaces. I mean, they're not hiring her to do surveillance like in the hallways, right? You don't need a surveillance expert to do surveillance in the hallways. But a surveillance expert is very handy when you need to place tiny little surveillance devices in people's bathrooms, around the toilets or around the showers, which is what people keep telling me has been going on in this unit for at least 6, 7 years, 8 years now. Starting in 2015, coworkers started making comments about things that I had and was doing in this unit that nobody should ever known about, because I did not have a YouTube channel at that time, and I was not posting anything about my tiny little apartment on social media. Certainly not. So there was that started in 2015. So when things suddenly disappear from that area right there by the door, I used to keep my bags on top of this pile of boxes. And somebody who knows exactly where I keep my bags and what I have in my bags has been stealing credit cards and valuable items out of my handbags for years. Just from this spot right here, when I go down the hall to the common bathroom for maybe a minute or two at the most, leaving the door unlocked. That is Jasmine Irizarry, the surveillance expert, right? Of course, it's the surveillance expert. She's the one who has knowledge of who is in their unit at what time and what they have in that unit, what their valuables are, where they keep their credit cards, where they keep their cash, where they keep their old cell phones that might have some incriminating evidence about her on them. A whole bag that I had of old cell phones that had videos and photos of Irizarry engaging in harassment in and around this building disappeared from the inside of this bag a few months ago, and it was in the very bottom of the bag where nobody should have known it was there. That is a big bag that nobody should have immediate knowledge of what it contains. And that bag of cell phones disappeared very quickly from this bag when I left it right there, again, when I went down the hall for just a few minutes. So maintenance just stopped by up here to give me a new key. I think it's the key to the front door. I do have a replacement key to the doorknob. So this must be the key to the front door. It looks like the key to the front door. I do have a key to my doorknob. I do have a spare key, but the front door is the big problem. And he said he was going to come back and check out the sink. So fingers crossed, right? That maybe this sink problem will finally be fixed after months and actually 3 years of a leak under the sink that I started reporting back in 2021. And then it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And now there's literally a swamp of water underneath the sink that never goes away. And I have to keep wringing out those claws every few hours. Otherwise, they become completely saturated. And I shouldn't have to do that, just to rinse out some dishes and wash a few hand wash items, in the sink, or fill up water bottles. The water's also intermittently foul, stinking, gritty, tacky, gluey. You can't use it for drinking. It covers everything with a gritty, gluey, sticky coating, or then it becomes slimy and oily and thick and greasy, and you also can't do anything with it. So there's some significant safety concerns with the usability and safety of that tap water, as I've been reporting for years. Irizarry, again, Greenville's resident psychopath, sex offender, cyber criminal, who Oleg Aleseyev keeps saying is such a talented hacker, she can get into anything, has also bragged on social media that she is a structural engineer who gets paid to solve problems, as she put it. And she said that she had been putting boogers in the water and I should enjoy the boogers in my hair. So, when you have a psychopath who brags on social media about their criminal activities, then all bets are off. And what you're reporting is entirely possible, and not just possible, but verifiable. So basically there has barely been any water coming out of that faucet. And then there's that leak underneath the sink is damaging all the floor around the sink. It's been going on for a while. Okay, so after basically 3 months and more than like 3 years of informing the Greenville group that there is a slow leak under the sink, looks like they're finally doing something about it. I started reporting it in writing to their maintenance manager in 2021. I also left voicemails in 2021 because it was like a slow leak. There was water seeping onto the items that I was storing under this cabinet, which was mostly Tupperware and plastic bags and cardboard boxes of, macaroni and stuff like that. Nothing perishable, but the stuff was getting wet and I couldn't keep anything cardboard under there. So I told them there was a leak under the sink and nothing has been done really since then. And over the last couple of months, it has turned into a swamp under there where I can't keep any items at all because the water that is now leaking from either the drain pipe or the valves or both is so significant that it literally forms a puddle that is constantly standing on that wooden cabinet base that now seeps into the floor, and the floor area around this kitchen sink is damaged. The tiles are lifting up, they're cracking. The glue from underneath the tiles is now seeping up to the top of the tiles and is causing a residue, like a sticky, gluey residue on top of the tiles around the base of the sink. You don't see this happening anywhere else on the tiles elsewhere in the unit that are not damaged by the water from the sink, but that sink has a significant leak, a water problem, plumbing problem. There's barely any water coming out of that tap. Yesterday, the water was shut off for 30 minutes. Come on in. Thank you. Oh no, I've been here, but I've had a new job, and there was also a lot of legal stuff that I've been taking care of.
Oh.
So I've been around, but not every day.
How's your
So
job? You good?
it's good, yeah. Just doing the training. So far so good.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I'm not around every day. The job is part time, so it's a few days a week. So I'm gone all day during those few days. Yeah.
Light.
Yeah, the faucet really, this faucet right here has been leaking for 2 months now. It was just never a good faucet for some reason. And there was always a leak under the sink. I think the valves are leaking. And maybe the drain pipe. I mean, there's been a leak under that sink for 3 years. And I started reporting it to Alexei. Do you remember Alexei?
Alexei, yeah.
He was the maintenance manager in 2021, and that's when it started leaking under the sink. So I told him about it, and then Alexei left and Jorge became the maintenance manager, and the leak just never got fixed. So I think it's the valves. I think it's the valves that are leaking, because it's the same valves that have been there for 12 years now or something. Yeah, it's the valves, because there's been 2 or 3 different faucets, and yet there's always a leak under that sink. I think it's the valves that are leaking. So there was a cockroach problem in this unit. So the pest control was here this morning, and they sprayed the area around the sink. So just be careful, because there could be some cockroach spray around the sink and around the floor. I think they sprayed the floor for the cockroaches as well. Okay, that's maintenance. Okay. Well, at least the floor is clean. Mostly. I just broke a bowl. Okay, that sounds a little bit better than before. Ooh, sorry. Sorry, I don't see anything. Just trying to see. Okay, that looks a lot better. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's definitely sounding like normal water again. Did you know that they shut the water off to this floor yesterday at around 11 a.m.?
I think we have a leak downstairs.
Okay, because there was no water coming out of this tap or the bathroom taps for 30 minutes around 11 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was you guys?
I think so, because
Okay.
because I saw a leak downstairs, and I tell Alex, and he said, okay, let me call the plumber.
Okay.
I think he called the plumber to fix it.
Oh, because, yeah, there was no water coming out of any of these taps for 30 minutes yesterday. Okay, and then all of a sudden the water to this tap was not coming out. So there was no water to that tap for hours yesterday, and I had to call the office a few times. So now it looks like it's back full force. Okay, well, as long as there's normal volume and pressure coming out of that tap. It's really hard to use it when there's a trickle coming out, I mean, you have to have enough water to be able to rinse things and to wash things and all that stuff.
For the faucet?
Yeah, of course, yeah. There's no cost, right? I don't have to pay for it, right?
No.
Okay, it's just saying that you fixed it?
Just the same. Just when I put my
Of course.
system.
Okay, sure, of course. Yes,
I'll get to you when I come back. I'm gonna do the extra.
Okay, so not quite finished, but better than before, I think. Oh, wow, look. Oh, way better. Like, way better. Okay. That's more like it. Okay. So, this is what it should be, obviously. Okay, so this looks like it's baseline. So this faucet has just been replaced. This is the baseline water volume and pressure. And yeah, that's what it's, if it deviates from this, then you've got a problem, right? Okay. And maybe the leak is going to not be there anymore with the new faucet. Hopefully that'll help stuff. I mean, this floor is so damaged right now. This is actually glue right here. This is all glue. This white stuff, it's glue from underneath the tiles, and you can't scrub it off. Like, it literally is just glued on top of the tiles. And because it's water and moisture related, you don't see that same problem anywhere over here, right? Because these tiles are not water damaged. There could be some wear and tear on these tiles, but you don't see that coating that you see on the tiles over by the sink. All right, so basically the floor is fine. I swept it one day ago. It should still be pretty clean. I cleared everything away from the walls this morning for the pest control team. Obviously shook out the bedding, made the bed. There's always some kind of dust covering the bedding. It's like a corrosive dust that seems to settle all over everything in this unit. And when it comes into contact with your skin, it literally causes some skin burns. So I keep having to shake out the bedding from this bed because, again, there's some kind of a dust coating that settles all over everything. It's not just the bed, it's also on the counters, around the stove, anything that you hang up over there by the cabinet. Sometimes I hang up t-shirts that I've washed or whatever. Those items are also coated with this dust or powder that is corrosive and causes skin burns when it comes into contact with your skin. So I literally have to keep shaking everything out, wiping everything down. The leak under the sink doesn't help anything. The damage to the floor and to the tiles does not help anything. The fridge is a 14-year-old fridge that's kind of on the fritz. It doesn't really keep things cold for very long. And the shades are broken. I cannot lift up the shade. This shade right here, it literally won't lift up. It won't lift up. So you can't, yeah, it's broken. I don't know what happened to it. I mean, all I do is pull it up and down, but for some reason, like one day it suddenly just stopped working, and now only this side lifts up, and it won't lift up more than a few inches. So we definitely need a new shade here for this window. Yeah, that's a small problem. Okay, so it's just before 2 p.m. now on Thursday, September 19th. Can't believe we're the 19th. It feels like summer outside. It's nice and warm, a little bit humid, a little dark and gray. Looks like it could rain, but that's all good. We need the rain. Renato, there's some problems with the water in this building. I don't know if anybody else has complained about it, but the water, the quality of the water is sometimes very sticky and tacky and gluey. How do we get the water tested?
Sometimes when this happens, because we have the same problem, but not here.
Okay.
It's a different problem.
Oh, really?
It's that people walk on the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But sometimes it smells really bad. The water has a terrible smell that comes out of it.
Yeah, probably because when they change some pipes.
Okay. How would we get the water tested? Who would I talk to about that?
Water test.
Tested to see if there's any bacterial contamination.
I don't know. I think I don't know. But if you ask Felicita,
Okay.
she know. Probably is city. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I've called the city already. Yeah, I've called them, but sometimes they have additional testing that needs to be done. You know, I know that the city tests for lead in the water, but sometimes they don't test for anything else. So I'll check with the office. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are now 2:15 p.m. Still on Thursday. The day hasn't changed. But there's this broken shade that has been broken for a few weeks now. And I've been trying to fix it myself by trying to lift it up and prop it up. And it's just not working. You can't access the window when the shade won't lift up. And you're literally tying yourself up and trying to lift up the shade and keep it up while you're accessing the window sash. So that's a problem. We need to replace that shade. So I think that Renato from maintenance is going to come back in a little bit, and hopefully he'll have a shade that can work for this window. So we'll see.
38. Let me see if I have a 38 downstairs.
Okay, so it's 38 inches. Okay. Okay. So at least I cleaned out the hallway from the boxes that I had to drag out earlier this morning due to the pest control visit. Floor is clean. I swept it a day ago, and they fixed, I think, they fixed the tap. Now there's actually normal amounts of water coming out. I'm not sure what yeah, so that's a normal amount of water, right? It's not a trickle. You can actually wash stuff with it. Normal volume and pressure, that's acceptable. Sure, I'll take that, right? But the shade hasn't been lifting up properly in weeks. So when I try to open or close a window, I'm literally getting my head stuck in the shade because you can't lift it up or pull it down. It doesn't move. Yeah, not sure what the deal is with that. So I'm just going to move everything out of the way so maintenance can have access to this lovely situation right here and see if they can fix it. Okay. There was definitely more work than I thought that needed to be done in here today. But at least it's getting done. So that's good. I mean, it seems to be working fine. So yeah, hopefully it'll be fine. I hope. And then the shades are fixed. So thank you so much. It was hard to open and close. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was getting tangled up in the shade when I was trying to open and close the window. So that helps. Thank you. Okay, 2:40 p.m. Still Thursday, September 19th. Maintenance just left. So they've been in this unit for several hours now, which means that there was quite a bit of work that needed to be done. Mainly a giant leak under the sink and a faucet that had no water coming out of it. For some strange reason, there was literally a trickle of water barely coming out of this tap for over 24 hours, meaning I couldn't use it and I had to go down the hall to the common bathroom. This is more like it. This is a normal stream of water that you can actually use to clean things, right? That's the whole point. So that seems fine. The water also seems fairly normal right now. It's not oily, thick, or greasy, or stinking or tacky. So right now things are good. Maintenance just left. So, as soon as they leave, that's when the craziness starts happening. It looks like they cleaned up the underneath part of the sink, fixed some of the water damage, but they did not fix the tiles. So there's still some cracked and broken tiles to fix due to the long-standing water damage that's been going on for months and hasn't been fixed for months. I mean, they did finally fix it looks like, but all that glue right here that you see, this is literally glue that you can't get rid of. It is coming up from the underneath part of the tiles that are lifting up due to the moisture and water. So these need to be replaced, but okay. And then they fixed that shade so that I can actually open and close the window properly and not get tangled up in the shade that won't lift up. I got my head stuck in the shades last night when I was trying to open my window. That's never good.